Good morning, Midland, Texas. I've got a short video. I want to do this today that I think you'll find real interesting. The date today is January 23rd, 2020, of course. And in January 23rd, 2012, 8 years ago, I filed for divorce from a 3-month marriage from the ex-wife. 5 days later, I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut, and she's alleged to be involved in the shooting. You're going to see that in this Facebook post. You're going to see where her former boyfriend told me that, and so I have a video that I have a Facebook post yesterday that I titled life insurance books, and that's what I'm going to go over here. This is my Facebook. If you have Facebook, it's under Buddy Wayne Webb, and I have the maximum 5,000. I have it open for anybody can see it, for all the public to try to spread this true story, fact-based story of what's going on here. So here is the Facebook post from yesterday, life insurance booklets, and I included a clip from an older video, and I'm gonna show that because it's only about 1 minute, and it come from some of the original videos called Midland, Texas Tunnels and Crime, parts 1 through 5. This is from the part 3, and we'll watch that. I said we were. Looks like we have a technical problem, people, and I know how to bypass that. That's where you wonder. I wonder if that was on purpose. You know what I mean? Because we don't want people to see the video. So, it's this one. Here we go.
I know right 2 weeks before I'm shot, about 2 weeks, I'm in my garage and I'm loading furniture in the back of this pickup truck, and I had this conversation with this person, and I'm telling this person, I know about the tunnels and I've already called the DEA, which I've done, right? Of course, I didn't know the DEA wasn't going to show up. And this person looks at me and says, I'm not a part of a prostitution ring. I didn't say anything about prostitution. I said I knew about the tunnels. That really indicated that he said it was confirmation to me anyway, and I can't say, oh, this person said that, because they didn't. But that was confirmation to me that these tunnels were being used for prostitution. And I think that's true. If I look at the truckers lining up, it's an ongoing racketeering business. And
okay, and so that tells you that little video. Okay, and so basically I have a write-up here, life insurance booklets, and it's several paragraphs long here. I'll go ahead and just put it there where somebody can print screen it and read it if they want. But what we're going to do here, the way I'm going to lay this video out, is I put comments under the Facebook post, and I just took paragraphs and then I back it up with a piece of evidence or whatever, and so I do it. I've done that before, so it breaks it down, makes it easy. On December 20th, 2011, okay, this is about 5 weeks before I was, the murder attempt, before I was ambushed and shot. The ex-wife called the police, and they came here and put me into the back of a police car, which already had a baggie of marijuana laying in the seat. The threat of being framed for drugs was obvious. These police officers, Blake Bush and Trent Sellers, told me that they better not be called back here again for this stuff. This stuff was my repeated calls to them for burglaries and thefts that I've been reporting for over a year. After the police left and I got back inside my home, the ex-wife tells me, we're creating a document trail on you. And she also said, Danny said we'll just take your house. Well, my brother Danny, I asked him about this. He said he didn't say that, and he don't know anything about the crimes here. So we don't know who Danny is. Obviously, Danny's a key player, though, and that's for sure. I had made up my mind that I wanted a divorce, which I had told the police in the car about, and I told her when I got back inside, I'm cutting my losses. This 3-month marriage was over. It became clear that she was my wife, but she wasn't on my side. Obviously she knew about this home being rigged and all that. And so this is a picture that I included. This was the police report, the actual report. There's the report number, so it can be verified. There's the timestamp, 12/20/2011. Someone has been getting into their house, okay? And that's exactly what happened. Here's the name, Blake Bush, Trent Sellers there, and I'm called 1096. That's modus operandi for covering up the crimes here. Anybody who's reported somebody in the attic, then automatically that's how they destroy the life of the crime victim and will allow the burglars and thefts to continue. That's what you're always seeing. And this box that I've gotten red, it was added just a few minutes after I crawled out and survived the murder attempt. It's called an XREF, or a reference comment. I believe it was done by Secret Police Matt Davis, who seems to be one of the main players. He was one of the police officers that was listed as being at my home, but he wasn't seen arriving, and so that told me he was under my home, and somebody under my home had shot me. So anyway, that was the night that I'm told we're creating a document trail on you, and obviously the document trail was to cover up my murder, my for-profit murder that happened 5 weeks later. Okay, her last night to sleep in here was December 29th, 2011, even though her stuff was here for a few more weeks. This is when she took my life insurance books without my knowledge. A few days after I put electricity on my bedroom doorknob to stop another home invasion, and when it's suspected that Matt Hyman died here on January 14th, 2012, the ex-wife comes to my home. And that's a whole nother video and story and all that it's suspected this landman attorney died. He died of a surprise heart affair. He's 33 years old on the same day I put electricity on my doorknob when I was stopping a home invasion. I built a safe for him. Anyway, when I opened the door, she says in a smart tone of voice, "Hey, you sleeping?" It was clear that she knew about this night of terror when I built a safe room and stopped the home invasion by electrifying my bedroom doorknob. I replied, "Like a baby." And I have a link to that video right there for the people that have my Facebook. And what I did here was put the obituary for Matt Hyman. Here's the guy that we're suspecting, or I suspect, many other people suspect, that he died inside my home when he grabbed my doorknob and didn't realize it was electrified, okay? And it shows some of my top suspects for the oil show parties and the connection to the prostitution and the little girl was murdered in 2010 are landman, because they're just one group of people. And I've been threatened by several of them. There are a lot of reasons I believe that certain landmen are involved in oil show parties, specifically the human trafficking side of that, prostitution, etc. And then he later became an attorney for Cotton Bledsoe, Ty and Dawson, and that's the city's attorney, or was, and then this was a conversation with his former sister-in-law, and because I didn't know how he died. If he died of cancer or in a car wreck, it wasn't him. But he happened to die of a surprise heart attack nobody knew he had. And at the same exact time that I put electricity on my doorknob, right? And then two of his friends, they were desperate to stop me from asking questions, and they wrote me and threatened me. There's a whole video on that. When did he die? If he died that morning, it wasn't him. But no, he died at the exact same time I put electricity on the doorknob. So I feel 99% sure Matt Hyman died in my hallway. The other side of that, I just realized, if his friends would have called 911, they could have saved his life, and he wasn't here. He wasn't by himself, there was more than one person in my house that time trying to come in that door, and that's why I built that safe room. And so his friends are the ones that ought to hold responsibility for his death, because they were more concerned about saving their butt. They didn't want to get arrested for burglary, habitation, exposed to underground facility, tunnels, and all that. So they let their friend die. Their own friend. They let him die so they wouldn't get embarrassed and be arrested. And I bet you we're gonna find out that's a fact. Moving on. The reason that she had come here, the ex-wife, was to bring me filled out divorce papers and to return my life insurance books that I didn't know were gone. I would later wonder if she brought them back so she wouldn't have possession of them when I died by accident a few weeks later. My sister-in-law, Mitzi Webb, would later tell me on a phone call that she had seen these books in this 3-week period while they were gone from my home. Okay, and I have no more information on that, and I don't talk to Mitzi or my brother Danny anymore. And like I said a while ago, they just claim to know nothing about the crimes here. But somebody needs to ask Mitzi where and when and how did she see them books, because she told me that she saw them. These books show that if her lifelong friend from grade school, okay, MPD Detective Rosa Rodriguez, now I'm talking about the lifelong friend of the ex-wife, come to find out was the detective that closed my case, Rosa Rodriguez, would rule my murder an accident, then it would add an additional $250,000 in 2 years paid to the benefit. So there was an extra $500,000 added if her friend that she went to elementary school with would rule my murder an accident, and I estimated that she would have gotten around $650,000 in cash and assets, plus my paid for and very important rigged home if my murder was ruled an accident by her friend. If I didn't die, then she would get nothing from this 3-month marriage under allegations that she's working with the prostitution ring. The big prize was this home, and I was a problem for the criminals that rigged it. And of course this home, but being with $1 million 3-bedroom underground home, 25 foot deep in the backyard, connected with tunnels, being used for human trafficking, etc. And racketeering and crime. That was the big prize. And I was a problem for the criminals because I was tear gassing the attic. I was calling law enforcement, corrupt law enforcement, but I was calling law enforcement like a good citizen should, trying to get the crime stopped and make Midland a safer place. This is a picture of the benefits book from my company, okay? And it showed her when she took my life insurance booklets without my knowledge when we separated around the first of the year, less than a month before I'm ambushed and shot, that if my murder's ruled an accident, then it added 2 times base pay and $250,000. It was called AD&D, accidental death benefit. Okay, so she found that out. I didn't know she took them life insurance booklets until she brought them back, and that happened shortly after the night I put electricity on the doorknob. And as I started this out, she also brought filled out divorce papers, which I filed on the 23rd. Today is the 23rd. 5 days later, I'm ambushed and shot when my phone line's cut. And that's when the secret police got caught on camera. And one of them secret police, we find out 6 years later, was her friend, Rosa Rodriguez. Okay? And so this is court testimony in 2013. And it was a surprise to me and my lawyer. And basically what happened, we noticed that Rosa Rodriguez, the detective from Midland that was working on my case, was sitting next to the ex-wife. And so my lawyer just asked her, do y'all know each other? And that's when we found out they went to elementary and junior high together. They were lifelong friends. They were buddies, and that's mighty convenient because it was Rosa Rodriguez that's caught in perjury, caught lying on police reports. She's a main player in this premeditated capital attempted murder. For profit. Next. She picked up her things about a week before I was shot, and some interesting things were said while we were loading up furniture and boxes that day. Now, this is like a week before I'm shot. She told me that my family had gone on a secret ski vacation that same weekend, which I wasn't invited to, and I later found out this was true. Okay, she told me that my dad had an affair 15 years earlier with a woman named Pat Mason, and it almost broke up my mom and dad's marriage. And, amazing how she knew that and I didn't know that. I was the only one in the family that didn't know. Dwayne and Pat Mason used to live in Odessa, and Dwayne made a lot of money working for CSI Compressors. I would later wonder if that company had a connection to the oil show parties. Okay, my dad, a few months after I'm shot, he sells his home, moves to Weatherford where Pat Mason's living. They were going to get married. Then he turned around and moved back and ended up marrying Ann Calloway, my first mother-in-law. Anyway, I told her, this is only conversation. I know about the tunnels. I've already called the DEA, which I had just done. She thinks about this and then slowly replies, I'm not a part of a prostitution ring. I hadn't said anything about prostitution, and this told me what the tunnels were used for. I think she was asking me to not get her involved, thinking the DEA would bust this crime ring. The DEA has never ever been to my home, okay? And remember, my phone records prove it. I bet their records show that I called the DEA and reported a suspected tunnel 2 weeks before somebody in a tunnel shoots me, okay? And The DEA never looked, and I was ambushed and shot right after that. So some people have wondered if somebody with the Midland DEA is setting up citizens who report crime to be murdered. This is a big deal. I mean, I'm not even supposed to be alive. Has there been other people that called the Midland DEA and saying, I need to report this, and there was a corrupt DEA agent saying, oh, we need to kill this person that's reporting crime? I mean, is that going on? That's what it looks like. I mean, verify the phone records. It's proof. It's absolute fact. I called the DEA. They didn't look. 2 weeks later, somebody under my home shot me. She also told me that my family conspired to have me committed when we went to Hobbs for Christmas a few weeks earlier, but we didn't go because of the freak snowstorm. Now, remember, this is January 23rd. We were supposed to go down there for Christmas, I think Christmas Eve that year, to my daughter Jennifer Webb Youngblood's house, and a snowstorm come up, and so we didn't go. And so what she was telling me in this conversation is that my family had conspired to have me committed when we got over to New Mexico for Christmas. Now, ain't that a nice Christmas present, for your loved one that would die for you, And then I haven't spent Christmas with my family since. With tears in her eyes, this is the ex-wife. She says, I was the only one that wouldn't sign. My dad later told me they only need one more signature to have you committed, Anyway, I'm going to show you. This is a Midland Reporter Telegram article dated on the 23rd of December. You can see the snowstorm. And I give God all the praise and glory. It's a miracle. I mean, if we'd gone to Hobbs with presents to my family, they were conspiring, according to the ex-wife, conspiring to have me committed. Of course, it's pretty clear now. All I've done is tell the truth. I'm the victim of a crime. I spent my life savings, on a home that was rigged, and the criminals tried to kill me and take my stuff. That's what happened. Okay. After I was shot, she came by here and we were looking at my medical records. Okay. This is after I'm shot on the 28th. And I got out of the hospital. She was an RN. Okay. She seemed upset about what happened to me. And this is when she told me her brother-in-law was my ER doctor. I would have never known that otherwise. She also dropped hints that my medical records had been faked, which is now proven. And that's one reason I went and got all the medical records, and I went through them, like I did so closely. And this is one of the proofs of the faked x-rays. And basically, it's showing the ER report where the ER doctor orders 3 x-rays. The secret lab tech's never been identified, named user interface, cancels the doctor's orders 2 x-rays, and then they return x-rays or timestamp before they were even ordered. Okay, and that's only one proof. But the big thing here is the ER doctor that ordered these x-rays was her brother-in-law I didn't know about, and she's the one that told me that. I also have 2 other proofs, and that if anybody tries to discredit that, it's triple proof. My x-rays are fake. That's been turned over to the Texas Medical Board and the FBI. 8 months later, I was contacted by her former boyfriend, Arthur Welch. He told me that he dated her while she lived in Lubbock. He said that he believes she had a lot to do with the shooting from the things she said, and that she threatened to have him killed too. I have a copy of this conversation, and it was submitted as evidence at the 2013 protective order hearing. This is Arthur Welch, okay? Do you think so-and-so had anything to do with the shooting? The ex-wife. I dated her for a short time in Lubbock, and she threatened to have me killed. Well, that seems like pretty big stuff, right? When she filed a protective order on me when she lived 100 miles away and I hadn't seen her, talked to her in a year and a half, right? And she's alleged to be involved in the shooting. And well, I think she had a lot to do with it for the things she said, okay? And then basically I said, well, I think she was at Lubbock at the time, so I don't think she's here, but I think she knows who, and God's her answer, etc. That is this. This was submitted in court as evidence during that protective order hearing. The protective order hearing that where I got a lifetime ruling on. Okay. Next one. I'm still not sure about what role she played in the murder team or if she knew it was coming. Obviously, she knew about this home being rigged, though, and I've wondered if she was being blackmailed. One day while we were married, she come home from work really upset and tells me the secret is that a group of doctors are killing people for profit. I would later wonder if she told me this on the same day that she had been told they were going to kill me. Now, keep in mind, what she didn't tell me then was that her brother-in-law was a doctor, right? And turned out to be the ER doctor on the night I'm shot, and that's when it's proven the x-rays were faked, right? They took the x-rays of somebody else and put my name on them, okay? and the guy was missing a heel bone. They took me into surgery, cut my heel bone out. That's what happened. That's a fact. Okay, well, here in 2017, I testified that in court in 2013. In 2017, Ranger Strain was assigned to my case after I was advised to go to the Texas Rangers by Attorney General Paxton. Okay, and I'm telling him the biggest thing is these doctors that are killing for profit. She didn't say they were just killing me for profit. They're killing people for profit. They're killing man, woman, and child for profit. And Strain here, Texas Ranger, says, how would a doctor make money killing people? And I write him back and I'm going, you need to ask her that. Okay, she's the one that told me that. But remember, I provided you a recording where she admitted to trying to extort $1,800 a month from me, and if I didn't pay her, then she was going to tell everybody else crazy. I have a recording on that. It's in a video called "Follow the Money." And why don't you just ask her and find out who these doctors are? And Ranger Strain quit talking to me. I don't know if he quit, went to work for an old company, what, and just lawlessness. Anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. Buddy Way, Midland, Texas.